Hi guys, welcome to another video, and this is for Functional Skills Level 1, Practice Set 3. If you're new to my channel, I do a lot of videos for Functional Skills Level 1, Level 2 and GCSE Maths. If you're one of the many people who watch my videos but haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate that you hit that subscribe button and support my channel so that I can make more content. As always, if you're part of my class, you can download these notes from Google Classroom. If you're not part of my class, you can download them from the link in the description below. Let's jump straight into it. Section A, non-calculator. Question 1. Here are 4 numbers. Work out the mean of these numbers. So hopefully you should know that mean is total of all the numbers divided by how many you've got. So you do have to remember this. You know, they're not going to tell you in the exam. So first step is adding these together. So because it's on non-calculator, you're going to have to add them together like this, one on top of each other. So 29.4, 50.8, 24.7 and 19.9. Yep, add them like one big sum. So 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 7 is 19, and 19 plus 9 is 28. Put the 8 down, carry the 2. There's your decimal point, lined up in place. 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 9 is 24. Put the 4 down, carry the 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 5 is 9, 10, 12. So it should be 124.8. 124.8 is the total. Divided by how many numbers? Well, we've got 4 numbers here. And how to do this is, again, without the calculator. You're going to have to do the bus stop method. Again, let's do that on the side here. 124.8 divided by 4. How many 4s going to 1 doesn't go? How many 4s going to 12 goes 3 times? How many 4s going to 4 is once? How many 4s going to 8 is exactly twice. So it should be 31.2 for your answer. Let's put that in the answer box. Let me see what that is. 31.2. So you get 2 marks for your working and 1 mark for your answer. 3 marks in total. Yep, let's move on to the next question. Question 2. Work out 12 squared plus 208. So hopefully you know that this symbol here, the funny little 2 in the corner, means squared. So don't think of it as times by 2. You know, don't fall into that trap. Squared literally means multiply by itself. So that's 12 times 12. Plus we need to add 208. So obviously using BIDMAS or BODMAS, whichever you call it, we have to do the multiplication first. That's 144 plus 208. So again, I'm going to have to do it like this without the calculator. So 4 plus 8 gives me 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 1 plus 2 is 3. So your answer should be 352. Again, let's put that in the answer box. 352. Again, 2 marks for your working. You do have to show your working out. Try not to do it in your head. You know, you do have to show these little bits of working out to get you 2 marks. And then your 3rd mark obviously is for your answer. Yeah, 3 marks for that. Well, let's move on to question 3. Question 3. Greta manages a visitor attraction. She knows 48,600 people visited the attraction last spring. Greta says there has been a 15% increase in the number of visitors this spring compared to spring last year. Part A says work out how many people visited the attraction in spring this year for Greta. 3 marks. So if it was a 15% increase, let me just highlight that bit there. So we have to work out 15% of the number of people, so in this case 48,600, and whatever answer we get we have to add it on because it's an increase. Okay, so how to do this without the calculator? Me personally, I would do 10% first. So 10% is, all you do is just divide it by 10, or if you think of it as your decimal point is here, just move the decimal point back. Once it just jumps backwards, you'll get 4,860. So 5% will be half of that. You know, to get from 10 to 5, you halve it. So let's half 4,860, and that's going to be 2,430. So 15% is both of them combined. Just move this screen down a little bit. So I want 15%. So you can add it like a big sum. Yep. So that's going to give me 15% here. And if I add these two together, I'll get, what's that? 7,290. So it's a really good way of doing it, you know, without your calculator. I wouldn't recommend doing it this way. I know a lot of people would probably do it this way. 15% of 48600. If I had my calculator, then yes, I would do it this way, but me personally, I wouldn't do it this way. You know, you would probably get the same answer eventually, but you know, it would take you, I think it would take you longer to do it that way. It'd take me longer anyway if I did it this way. So I wouldn't recommend doing it this way without your calculator. So now, obviously we've just worked out 15%, and because it's an increase, we have to add it to the original, so we have to add it to the 48,600. Let's add 7,290. Yep, see how I lined it up exactly. So the units goes with the units, tens goes with the tens, and so on. So it lines up really nice. That gives me 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. Carry the 1. And that's a 5. So the answer should be 55,890. Let's put that in the answer box. Yep. And that's going to be, how many marks was that? 3 marks just for doing that. Just for part A. Part B says, use a reverse calculation to show a check of your working. So whenever it says this, you have to work backwards. So we have to use our answer and work backwards. Well, what was the last thing we did? We did this thing here, where we took away, where we added 7,290. So I'm going to take away, let me just double check. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take away the 7,290, and that's going to give me, hopefully, if I've done it right, it should give me the 48,600, the original number that they were talking about in the question. So let's take away 7,290. Yep, and hopefully I should get this answer here, the 48,600. Let's double check. So I would actually work this out. 0 take away 0 is 0. 9 take away 9 is 0. 8 take away 2 is 6. I'm going to have to borrow here. 15 take away 7 is 8. And I have a 4 here. Yeah, so I do get 48,600, the original number that they were talking about in the question. Yeah, can you see? That's the idea behind it. So, you know, whenever they say show a check, that's really what they're asking for. They're asking, can you work backwards and get the original numbers that they were talking about? And we do. Yes, so that means that we've done part A correct as well. Yep, there's your proof that we've done it correctly. 4 marks in total for that. Let's move on to the next question. Question 4. Fabio is a restaurant manager. He has this list of jobs. So you've got check supplies, write rotas, and so on. Okay. Fabio thinks he can complete all these jobs in 4¼ hours. Is Fabio correct? You must show your working for 4 marks. Right, so this is the last question for section A. there is a couple of ways you can do this. Obviously, we're going to have to add all these together and compare it with 4 1/4. So, me personally, I would change. Let's change it to. I would change them all to minutes. Yeah, including the 4 1/4 hours. In fact, let's change 4 1/4 hours to begin with. So 4 1/4 hours equals, well, 4 hours is 4 times 60, which gives me 240, and 1/4 of an hour is 15 minutes, so I need to add 15 minutes, which gives me 255 minutes. Okay, so now, you know, when I add up all these other ones here, again, I'm going to add them up in minutes. If I get less than this number, then he can do them within 4 1/4 hours. If my answer is more than this number, then he can't. So let's change these. So 3 1/4 hours. Hopefully you know that that is 45 minutes. And if you don't know, what you can do is, let me work out on the side, 3/4 of an hour. Well, you do 3/4 of 60. Yeah. So you can divide by 4 and times by 3. If you divide by 4, you get 15. 3 times 15 is 45. Okay, so you can work it out if you're not sure. 1 hour 20 is the same as 60 minutes for an hour plus 20 minutes, which gives you 80 minutes. So that's that done. What's the next one? 50 minutes. Okay, that's already 50 minutes. That's fine. And 1 1/2 hours is the same as 60 minutes plus 30 minutes. Yeah, half an hour, hopefully you should know, is 30 minutes. Again, you can do half of 60 and you get 30. So that's 90 minutes. So altogether, total is, again, I'm going to have to add them like this. So 45 plus 80 plus the 50 from before plus this 90. Running out of space here. Let me just scroll down a little bit. Just be careful you don't go past this line here. We get 5 for that. 12 plus 5 is 17. 17 plus 9 is 26. Ooh, so total is 265 minutes. So that means he's gone over 4 1/4 hours. So he thinks, or he thought that he can complete all these jobs within 4 1/4 hours, or in 4 1/4 hours. No, he can't. It's more than that. Yeah, so definitely no, I'm afraid. As long as you show, you know, and again, you don't have to do it this way, by the way. This is just one way of doing this question. There are other ways, you know, there are other ways that showing that he is wrong. This is just one way. So I'm not saying that you have to do it this way. This is just my way of doing it. But it's a really good way of doing it because you can just easily compare the 255 minutes with 265 minutes. And as you can see, it's gone over the 255 minutes. So it's definitely a no. Yep. And that's 4 marks for that question. So that's section A done. Just give me 2 seconds and I'll put section B on the screen. Okay, so this is section B, 1 hour 30 minutes long. And of course now we can use our calculator. Ideally you should be using a scientific calculator, which is what I'll be using. Let's go straight to question 1. Question 1, here are 5 numbers. Calculate the range of these numbers for 2 marks. So hopefully you know what range means. You know, don't get it mixed up with all the other averages. So range is highest one, take away the lowest one. Yeah. So out of these numbers, which one's the biggest one? It looks like it's this one right here. And the smallest one, it looks like it's this one. So we're going to do 13,958 take away 4,249. And again, you know, don't try and work this out yourself on the page. You've got your calculator, definitely use it. You know, they're not going to be impressed if you try and work it out and you get it wrong. So it's no point risking it. You should get 9,709. Yep, 2 marks for that. So obviously 1 mark for your working, 1 mark for your answer. Let me just put the answer in the answer box. Yep, 2 marks for that. And then part B says, use estimation to show a check of your answer. So you can work backwards, or the normal way, you could work forwards as well when you're using estimation. And when it's saying estimation, you have to round these numbers. So me personally, I would, let's call the original number, let's call that 14,000. Yep. And take away, let's call it 4,000. Yep. And obviously that gives me 10,000. Yep. Which is roughly equal to the 9,709, which is roughly 9,709. There's your proof that you've done the original question, part A, correctly. Yeah, so you did get pretty close to what they were saying. 3 marks for that. Question 2. Emily's making sausage rolls for a party. She has this list of ingredients. So this is ingredients for 4 sausage rolls. Okay. Emily wants to make 75 sausage rolls for the party. Ready-made pastry comes in packs. There are 500 grams of pastry in each pack. Emily thinks 9 packs of ready-made pastry is the smallest number she needs to make 75 sausage rolls. Is Emily correct? Show why you think this for 4 marks. Right. So they're just talking about the ready-made pastry. So we're not interested in sausage meat, the egg, the red onion. So you can ignore all that. This is what we want. 250 grams. And that's for 4 sausage rolls. Let me just make a note of that. So for 4 sausage rolls equals, what was it? Let me just double check. 250 grams of ready-made pastry. Okay. She wants enough for 75 sausage rolls. So how do you get from 4 to 75? What's a good way of doing that? So me personally, I would, I tell you what, let's work out what 1 sausage roll would be. So let's do a step in between. So to get from 4 to 1, we're going to have to divide by 4 to both sides. Okay, so on the calculator, 250 divided by 4, press SD, you get 62.5. That's going to be grams. So for 75 sausage rolls, maybe I should have abbreviated this to just SR. It makes no difference. To get from 1 to 75, you're going to have to times that by 75. Again, to both sides. Yep, whatever you do to one side, do to the other. So 62.5 times 75. Press SD. That gives me 4,687.5 grams. So that's the total number of grams she needs of pastry. Each pack is 500 grams of pastry. So how many 500 go into that will tell us how many packs she needs. So let's do 4,687.5 divided by 500. Again, let's do that in the calculator. That gives me 9.375, and that's going to be number of packs. Yeah. So when you're working this out, don't just put the just the numbers on their own. Do write what they actually represent. So we worked out grams first, and then when you divide it by 500, that's going to give you the number of packs. So do write it down, what you've actually worked out. So technically we need 10 packs because 9 is not going to be enough, and she can't go to the shop and buy 0.375 of a pack, so she's going to need 10 packs. So she thinks 9 packs is the smallest number she needs. No, she's not correct. She needs 10 packs. So the answer is no. Yep, and that's your 4 marks for doing that. Let's move on to the next question. Question 3. Gareth is changing his gas supply to GES Energy. He has this information. So annual fee is £231.65 plus 4.71 pence for each kilowatt per hour used. Get 5% off the total charge if you pay by direct debit. Last year, Gareth used 42,000 kilowatts per hour of gas. Gareth thinks he will use the same amount of gas this year. He will pay by direct debit. Work out the total gas bill Gareth will pay using GES Energy. 5 marks for this question. Wow. It's a lot of marks for one question. So, total gas bill for the year. So if he's going to be using the same amount of gas, it's going to be the same amount of gas. They're talking about this, aren't they? So it's 42,000 kilowatts per hour. So what should we do first? We're going to have to work out how much it is for each kilowatt. So, well, in fact, for each kilowatt is 4.71 pence. He's got this much kilowatts, so we're going to have to multiply. First step is 42,000 times 4.71. Just notice that this is in pence, by the way. So your answer is going to be in pence as well. Let's just do this on the calculator. 42,000 times 4.71. We get 197820. And again, that's in pence. So it looks a bit weird in pence. Let's change it to pounds. So you just divide it by 100. And you get 1978.2. And obviously, this is what it looks like on the calculator without the pound sign, obviously. So if it's in pounds, don't forget to stick the 0 on the end, so it's to 2 decimal places. Okay. So that's for the kilowatts per hour used. Okay, so that's the that's that done. Plus the annual fee, so we're going to have to add the £231.65 on top of that. 23165. Yeah, let me just double check. 23165. Yep, let's add that together. So again, on your calculator, plus 231.65 is So we get in pounds 2,209 pounds 85. Okay. Let me just make sure. So we haven't done this bit here. Get 5% off if you pay by direct debit. And he will pay by direct debit, it says it here. Yeah, so we need to do 5% off. Just be careful with this. Because it's 5% off, you're going to have to work out 5% first and take that away. Yeah, because it's a discount of 5%. So let's do 5% of 2,209.85 pence. So that's the same as 5% of 2209.85. Yeah, so let's type that in the calculator. 5% of 2209.85. If you use the fraction button here, or you can use the divide button, makes no difference. You're going to get the same answer. And I get £110, and to the nearest pence, 49 pence. No, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna write all these down because it's not my final answer, is it? So 5% off means I have to take this away from the original, so 2209.85, take away the discount, which is all of that, because we have to be as accurate as possible. Don't round it yet. So 2209.85 take away my previous answer, you get £2,099 and 36 pence to the nearest pence. Yeah, it does actually say 3575. I'm going to round it. So in fact I have checked the mark scheme, and you know, it does say you have to be as accurate as possible, and you have to give this answer has to be 36 pence. So yeah, if you do put 2099.35 as your answer, it would be wrong. I think even if you round it here to £110.49, you know, for your discount, and take it away from the original, you will actually get this answer. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. So you should get, hopefully you should get this answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 4. Sam wants to create a space for water play in the village hall. He has this diagram of the floor in the village hall. Space for the water play must be in the shape of a rectangle, 3.5 meters by 4 meters, at least 2 meters away from other activity spaces, and at least 3 meters away from any door. Draw a space for water play on the grid below. So let me just scroll down. So we got a key here. So the key says 1 square length on the grid represents 1 meter on the village hall floor. The grayed out bit is activity space, and any dark lines like this is a door. Okay, right. Oh, that's all it says. Right, okay. So it has to be shape of a rectangle, at least 2 meters away from other exhibits. Okay, right, 3 meters away from the door. So me personally, I would change these measurements to how many squares we need on the grid. Yeah, before I do anything, before I draw it on the space, let's change it to how many squares. So in fact, we're quite lucky in this case. 1 square represents 1 meter, so that's going to be 3.5 squares by 4 squares from a rectangle. 2 meters away, so that means it's going to be at least 2 squares away, and this means it's going to be 3 squares away from any door. Yeah, so that makes our life a lot easier. So I can draw any rectangle as long as I meet all these requirements. Let me just double check. So I want to go away from these activities, these grayed out bits. So me personally, I would probably choose somewhere around here as my space, because it's away from all these other things, especially from that door. What did it say? 3 squares away from... Yeah, so at least 3 squares away from the door as well. Okay, so let me see what I could do. So this door is, let me see, 1, 2, 3. So let's start about here, and I need 3.5 by, what was it, 3.5 by 4 was it? Yep, 3.5 by 4. So I would go maybe 3.5 out here, so 1, 2, 3.5 is there, and 4 down, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So if I make my shape here, I'm going to use, obviously I'm going to use a ruler and a straight lines. Obviously you guys use a ruler and a pencil on yours. So just give me 2 seconds, I'm going to make my shape and I'll show you what it looks like. Yep, there's my answer. So as you can see, it's away from any other things, you know, it's at least 3 squares away from anything else, which is more than good enough. You know, even in the question they were saying, you know, has to be 2 squares at least away from any other activity spaces, 3 squares away from any door. So yeah, definitely that's one solution. You don't have to do it here, you know, I could have done it a little bit higher maybe. But that's one solution, and I could have done it the other way around as well. You know, 3.5 going down, and then 4 squares going across. That would have been absolutely fine as well, in fact. So yeah, quite a few solutions for this one. So as long as you meet all these requirements, and you draw the rectangle in the right place, you'll get 3 marks for that. Yeah. So in the exam, you know, don't spend ages on something like this. Let's move on to the next question. Question 5. Here's information about the distances travelled in miles by some people yesterday. Sandro starts to show this information in a grouped frequency table. Complete the grouped frequency table. Use 5 equal groups. 3 marks. So, this bit is very important. You have to use 5 equal groups. At the moment, they've only shown 2 groups here. So you've got 1 to 5, and they've done the tallies for that, and they've done the frequency. And they've only shown the second one as well. You know, and we have to obviously fill in the tallies here and the frequency. But they've only shown 2 out of the 5 groups. You have to fill out the rest. And, you know, some of the students in my other class, they didn't realise what they had to do. So make sure you understand what is the question actually talking about, and you have to realise that you have to fill in the blanks here, and obviously here and here as well. And you need an equal group. Well, let's just double check the information. So biggest one I can see is 22. Yeah, we've got a group of 1 to 5 for the first one. If you count them, that's 5 values. And same for the second one as well, 6 to 10, including the 6 and including the 10. That's another 5 values. So the next one must be 11 to 15. Yeah, and again, that's going to be 5 values. Next one must be 16 to 20. That's another 5 values. And the last group must be 21 to 25. Again, that's another 5 values. So there's your equal groups. And now we can do the tallies. And then once we've got the tallies, we can do our frequency as well. So let's do 6 to 10. In fact, let me just move the screen up a little bit. Do it this way. So 6 to 10, right. So that one. That one. That one. That one. That one. That's a group of 5. that one, that one, and that's it. So that's going to be 7. And now 11 to 15, I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to go this way. So that one, and that one, and that one. And I think that's it, isn't it? 11 to 15. That's all of them. So that's only 3. 16 to 20, let me just move a little bit down. 16 to 20 is only that one. Just the one. Yeah. And again, 21 to 25 is just the one, which is that one. And that should be 1. So altogether, you should have, we'll just double check, these were already done already, weren't they? The 5, 4, 1 and 2, that was in the first group, so I didn't cross these out. But you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should have 20 values, 4 by 5. So if you add up all these, if you add up the frequency, you should get 20. Let's just double check. 10 there, and 8 plus 2 gives me 10 as well. Yes, that's 20. So your completed frequency table should look something like this, and you'll get 3 marks if you do that. Yeah, notice how I crossed off these numbers in a certain direction, you know, just so that I'm not getting mixed up, and I know which ones I've eliminated. So you know, it's a really good way of doing it, and yeah, hopefully you notice that as well. Let's move on to the next question. Question 6. Melinda wants to put slabs in part of her garden. She has this sketch. All corners are right angles. Okay, so looks like an L shape, doesn't it? Where all these slabs are going to go. So the key says that all this greyed out space is where the slabs are going to go. Each slab is in the shape of a square with sides of length 600 millimeters. Melinda thinks she needs 65 slabs for this part of the garden. Are 65 slabs enough for this part of the garden? Show why you think this. 6 marks. Wow. Right. So, this type of question, first thing you should ask yourself, is it to do with area or is it to do with perimeter? So where are these slabs actually going? Hopefully you know where they're actually going. So obviously we're looking at the plan of the garden, so we're looking from the top. It's all here, isn't it, in this space. It's going to be filled with slabs here, so definitely to do with area. There's a couple of ways you can do this. I'm going to show you 2 different ways, and there's one particular way that I really like, which I will show you. The first way, obviously we're going to have to work out how many slabs can fit in here. So what I'm going to do is, so the first method is, let me draw a slab first. So this is a slab, okay, and it's 600 by 600. So you know, they didn't show us what slab looked like, but I'm going to draw it myself. So we could work out the area of a slab, work out the area of the L shape separately, and then how many of those areas of the slab go into the area of the L shape, and that'll tell you how many slabs you need. So let me just write this down. So let's work out area of a slab, which is obviously it's length times width, so 600 times 600, which gives you 36, and you can add 4 zeros. Okay, that's going to be millimeters squared, yeah, not centimeters. Sorry, I was about to put centimeters there. They're talking about millimeters for all of these. Now, how do you work out area of an L shape? We're going to have to split the shape, so I'm going to split it down this way. Let's call the shape A. And let's call the shape B. So I'm going to need this length here, which is the same as these two together. So that's 3,600 plus 1,800. In fact, let me write that down. 3,600 plus 1,800, which gives me 5,400 millimeters. Okay. Don't need anything else. Oh yes, I do. I need this bit here, from here to here. What's that going to be? That's going to be 7,200, the whole length. Take away the 4,800, which I don't need. Again, let's do that on the calculator. 7,200 take away 4,800. That leaves me with 2,400 millimeters. So now we can do area of shape A. So area of shape A is 5,400 times times 2,400. Okay, let me just double check. 5,400. Yeah, that's right. 5,400 times 2,400. Again, do that on your calculator. 5,400 times that. Oh wow, we get 1, 2. This is why I don't like doing it this way. This is the long way, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and just make sure you don't go off the page there. So that's area A done. Area B, similar sort of thing. So that's 4,800 multiplied by 1,800, right? So area B was, forgotten already. What was it? 4,800 times 1,800. And let's do that on the calculator. Oh wow, right. That gives me 8,640 zeros again, millimeters squared. So my total area is, when I add these two together, so that plus that, I'll just move my screen down again. See what I mean? I'm running out of space here. Plus 1296,000. And you know, it's very easy to miss one of these zeros. Again, this is why I don't like doing it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros this time. Millimeters squared. So basically, how many of these 360,000 go into this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, a lot of zeros in this one. So divided by 360,000, and eventually I get 60, and that's going to be 60 slabs. So he can fit, or she can fit. Who was it? Sorry, it was. I think it's a he. It's a she. Can fit 60 slabs in the space. She thinks that she needs 65 slabs. Well, are 16 okay? So technically it says, are 65 slabs enough for this part? Yes, they are enough. Yeah, in fact, it's more than enough. So yes, it is enough. Yeah. So in fact, she only needs 60 slabs. But if you're not sure, just make sure that you read this again. Are 65 slabs enough? And it's a yes, they are enough. Yes. So if you're not sure what you're trying to answer, whether it's yes or no, just reread that bit there. So that's a long-winded way of doing it. Let me show you the quick way, which I prefer. So the quick way is when you get your slab. In fact, let me do it in a different color. When you get your slab, you know it's 600 by 600. So how many 600s go into these spaces inside? So how many can you fit going this way inside? How many can you fit this way inside as well? So it's kind of like perimeter, or think of the border inside. How many you can fit? And it will go exactly in there. For level 1, definitely, you're not going to get any gaps. I'll tell you right now. 100%, you will not get gaps in level 1. For level 2, yes, you might. But for level 1, you will be able to fit exactly 600 millimeters of one side of the slab. That will fit exactly on one side of your garden, or wherever she's putting this. So in this case, you know, we're doing 5,400. That's 5,400 along this side. Divide that by 600. Let's do that in the calculator. 5,400 divided by 600, and you get exactly 9. So you've got 9 slabs going this way inside, from there to there. Yeah, do the same for that as well. Again, 2,400, which is that length there, divided by 600, and you should get exactly 4. So you're going to get exactly 4 slabs going this way. So inside shape A, you've got 9 by 4, which is 36. Yep, so you've got 36 slabs already in that section there, in section A. Let's do the same for section B. Divide that by 600, and you get exactly 8. So you've got 8 going this way. Yep, and let's divide this by 600, and you get exactly 3. So you've got 3 going this way. So 8 by 3 is in section B, and 8 times 3 is 24. So altogether you've got 36 plus 24 gives you exactly 60 slabs. Yeah, so you get the same answer. It's a lot quicker. There's a lot less zeros in this this way of doing it. You can see with the red writing, there is very, very few zeros. Whereas the other one, which I did in the black writing, can you see how many zeros are in that? Look how crazy that is. And it's so easy to miss one of these zeros and get it wrong. You know, even if you just miss 1 0, any bit of this working out, you know, your final answer is not going to be right, is it? And you're going to lose potentially 6 marks if you just make one silly mistake. You know, they're not going to give you anything, I'm afraid. So you have to be very, very careful. Whether you prefer doing it the first way or the second way is completely your choice, but me personally, I really like doing it the second way with the red writing. That is a much quicker way of doing it as well. It'll save you so much time, and it will, you know, I think it will make sure that you get the answer as well. I'll leave that with you. You know, you can decide yourselves, but me personally, I prefer the second way of doing that. Hopefully that made sense. Well, let's move on to question 7. Question 7. Graham is the manager of a fast food restaurant. The table shows the amount of money lost due to food waste for 5 days. Graham wants to draw a graph to show the amount of money lost due to food waste. Draw a suitable graph for Graham, 3 marks. So you can draw, you can choose, in fact, you know, when it says draw a suitable graph, you can choose to draw a line graph, or you can choose to draw a bar chart, whichever. Just make sure that when you draw these different graphs that your scale is consistent, and also your let's say you're doing, for example, a line graph, make sure that your crosses or your points are directly below or in line with your numbers. Yeah. So I'm going to make, let me just see what I've got. Let me just decide. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make I'll make a bar chart. I don't really like doing line graphs, to be honest. I don't know about you guys. I like bar charts. So obviously, amount of money that's going to go along the side, and I'm going to do the days along the bottom. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. They're going to go along the bottom. I'm going to use, yeah, I'll tell you what, because I've got these big boxes. No, in fact, you know what? I'm going to use, I'm going to leave a gap and then do one bar. Leave a gap, do one bar. Let's do like that. So, for example, that there is going to be for Monday. Leave a gap, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And oops, I tell you what, let's just put F for Friday. Notice that, you know, my where I've labeled it is my bars are going to be directly below these headings. Okay, and obviously our numbers are going to go along the side. Let me see what it goes up to. So it goes up to 400. How many boxes have I got? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I tell you what, I'm going to go up in hundreds for each of the big boxes. So let's put 0 here. 100, 200, 300, and 400. Yep, that's good enough. And let's label that. What was that? Amount of money. Yep, and it was days for the bottom. You don't have to, but I'm going to do that anyway. I know it doesn't say, but we know it's days. Yep. I'm going to draw a line for these, for both my axes. Just give me 2 seconds. And now I'm going to do my bar charts. So again, the most important thing is obviously the top of your bars. They have to be as accurate as possible. So for example, for the first one, Monday, if it's 190, don't forget for our scale, or my scale that I've done, I've got 10 little squares between 0 and 100. So each one of these is going to be 10 for these little squares. So 190 is going to be one little square below the 200. Yes, so 190 is going to be right there. Yeah, obviously you guys use your pencil and ruler. I'm going to use my funny thing to make this. So there's my first one, and you can shade it in very lightly, and I mean lightly. I've seen some crazy shading when I mark these. I'm going to do the rest, so give me 2 seconds and I shall complete the rest and show you what it looks like. Yep, so there's my answer. So as you can see, this is what your bars should look like, and if you want to pause the video, just make sure that you have the same answer. Just notice for Thursday that was 345, so I had to go 4.5 squares up for my scale. Obviously it totally depends on your scale. And one other thing to notice is just make sure that your bars are equally spaced. Can you see I've got one square between each, or one big square, sorry, between each bar. So you know, just make sure that your graph looks nice and neat, it's evenly spaced out, and you know, hopefully it should look something like this. You'll get 3 marks. Well, let's move on to the next question. Question 8, part A. Write 1 3/4 as a percentage for 1 mark. So the good thing is we've got our calculator, but a good way of working it out is, you know, if you've got 1 whole, that's the same as 100%. Okay, and you've also got 3/4, and that's the same as 75%. Yeah, and you can type that in your calculator and just times it by 100. So if you're not sure, 3/4 times 100 and you get 75% if you want to work it out. Yes, that's where that comes from. So altogether, you should have 175% for your answer. Yep. Let's put that in the answer box for 1 mark. And you know, you don't have to show you're working out if it's 1 mark. If you know the answer is 175, you can just put your answer. Part B says, write 1 2/3 as a decimal. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. This is for 2 marks, so we definitely have to show some kind of working out for this one to get 2 marks. So what I would do is, you could change it to top heavy first if you want to. So 1 2/3 is the same as, well, if you multiply these two together and add that, you'll get 1 times 3 is 3 plus the 2 is 5 over 3. If you type that in your calculator, 5 divided by 3, press equals and press SD, and maybe press SD again a couple of times, so it looks like this. Yep, should look like 1.6 recurring. That 6 goes on forever. So now you can round it to 2 decimal places. There's my cutoff line. This 6 here on this side is going to decide what happens to this 6 on this side. So because this 6 is more than 5, this 6 is going to go up to a 7. That stays the same. There's my dot. There's the 1 that's going to stay the same as well. So your answer to 2 decimal places is 1.67. Yep, for 2 marks. I could have used the original. I could have used 1 2/3, but sometimes, you know, it's a little bit tricky to write that in your calculator, or type it in your calculator, sorry. You might need to use Shift and the fraction button, but you know, you don't have to do it that way. Me personally, I think this is a really good way that I've shown on the screen. Change it to top heavy or an improper fraction, and it's exactly the same thing. It means that, you know, it means the same thing. And just use your calculator. Let's move on to the next question. Question 9. Natasha is designing a building with a restaurant on the top floor. She needs to know how long it will take for a total of 40 people to travel in the lift from the ground floor to the restaurant. Natasha uses this formula. So total number of people to travel multiplied by 79 divided by 8 gives you the time to travel in seconds. Natasha thinks it will take more than 6 minutes for a total of 40 people to travel in the lift from the ground floor to the restaurant. Is Natasha correct? Show why you think this for 4 marks. So we need total number of people to travel. Well, that's that bit there. So that's 40. And you just follow the arrows. You're going to multiply that by 79. Let's do that on the calculator. So 40 times 79 gives you 3,160, and then you have to divide that answer by 8. Again, let's do that on the calculator. So divide by 8 gives me 395. That's going to be my answer in seconds. Yeah, because that's what they said here. So we have to compare that with this, because they think it's more than, or she thinks it's more than 6 minutes. So is this 395 seconds more than 6 minutes? So you could change this to minutes if you want to by dividing by 60, or let's change, I think what a better way would be to change 6 minutes into seconds. So you times that by 60, and that gives you 360 seconds. So is 395 seconds more than 6 minutes? Yes, it is. So yes, so Natasha is correct. So we can say 395 is greater than 360. So yes. Where's the answer box? There you go. Yeah, 4 marks for that. I think it's a good idea to show every little step that I've shown here. You know, just to get, you know, make sure you get your 4 marks. I think that's a really good idea. That's that done. Let's move on to the next one. Question 10. George is a farmer. He's going to put water piping along all the edges of a field. George draws this sketch of the field. Okay, so we've got another L shape. Right. Water piping costs 59 pence per metre. Calculate the total cost of the water piping George needs for this field. 3 marks. So hopefully you've noticed where this water piping is going to go. So it's along all the edges. So that screams to me anyway. It's definitely to do with the perimeter. So how do we do the perimeter? We just add up all the sides, don't we? So you're going to have to add all of these. Are there any missing? Let me just double check. No, they're all there. So let's add. I'm going to start from the top. So 90. I'm going to go clockwise. So 90 plus 26 plus 26. Plus 42 plus 64 at the bottom, plus, what was it along that side? 68. Yep, let's stick that in the calculator. And we get 316, and that's going to be in meters. Okay. So, we want the total cost though. So if it's 59 pence per metre, well, we've got 316 metres. So we're going to need 316 times 59 pence. Let's write it like this. So on my calculator, I'm going to do 316 times 0.59 equals, I might need to press SD, £186.44. Yep, that's 3 marks just for doing that. That's all right. Yep, let's put that in the answer box. 186 and 44 pence. Yep, and of course, you know, don't fall into that trap of trying to work out the area. Nothing to do with the area. You know, if you try and work out the area for this question and use that, you're not going to get anything at all. Has to be perimeter. Yep, so do look for the clues in the question. The big clue for me was right here. It's talking about going along the edges of the field. Yep, 3 marks for that. Let's move on to the next question. Question 11. John is organising a charity sailing race on the sea. He starts to draw this accurate scale map of the course. Okay. Key says 1 centimetre on the map is half a kilometre on the sea. Sailors begin the race at the start and follow the course to the finish. John says the course has a total distance of more than 18 kilometres. Part A says, is John correct? You must show you're working for 4 marks. Okay, so he starts from, so sailors begin the race at the start, so that's there. Ah, so they follow the course, so they go all the way around to the finish, obviously. Yeah, so again, just make sure that you understand what the question is talking about. So it's not going to go from here to here, is it? Yeah, it's going to go all the way around from start to finish. That's the course, obviously. Because it's an accurate scale map, we can use, or we have to use, our ruler. Yeah, because these are missing here. These are blank, so we're going to have to measure these with our ruler. And obviously, we'll get our answer in centimetres. These are already in centimetres here, here, and here. So just give me 2 seconds. I'll just put the ruler on the screen and try and work out what these are. Right, so for the first one, as you can see, first one should be exactly 4 centimetres if you've measured it correctly. So that's 4. And let me measure the next one, and I'll let you know what that is as well. Right, so for the next one, it looks like it's, I'd say that's definitely 6 centimetres for that one. Okay, and then I will show you this last line. Just give me 2 seconds. Yep, and the last one is definitely 9 centimetres, so that's that one there. Yep, let me just remove the ruler. So, okay, right, those are the measurements in centimetres, but we want the actual distance in real life. So they said that 1 centimetre on the map is half a kilometre on the sea. So I'll tell you what, let's add up all these centimetres together. We'll get a total in centimetres, and whatever total that we get, we'll change that to kilometres afterwards. Yeah, so there's no point changing all of them individually. Let's do it all in one go. So I'm going to add, let me just do it on the side here. So I'm going to add 3 plus 4.5 plus 6.5 plus 4 plus 6 plus 9. Okay, let me do that on the calculator. So I get 33 centimeters for the answer. So this is the total distance in centimeters on the page. Okay, and ideally you should write that down here really. Okay, at the bottom. So the total distance equals 33 centimeters. We have to change that to kilometers. So the way to change it is, we're told that 1 centimeter represents 0.5 kilometers. We've got 33 centimeters, so you can go this way or you can go this way, whichever. I'm gonna go this way, in fact. So to go from 1 to 0.5, I'm gonna have to times by 0.5. Yep. So again, you're gonna have to do the same to 33 as well. You have to times that by 0.5. Yep. So on the calculator, 33 times 0.5, that's going to be 16.5 kilometers. So he thinks, or John says, the course has a total distance of more than 18 kilometers. Is he correct? No, he's not. He's not. It's less than that. So we can say 16.5 is less than 18. So no, he's not correct. Yep, that'll get you 4 marks for part A. Let's have a look at part B. Part B says, John writes a large cheque to be used for publicity. John says we have raised £97,403 for charity. Okay. Write this number on the cheque for John. So, you know, sometimes you'll get something like this. You know, a really easy question right at the end. So hopefully you've been doing it in the order of, not the order it's written for the paper. If you time yourself properly, obviously this is 1 hour 30 for this paper. You should really do all the easy ones first, or all the ones that you can do first. Skip the difficult ones, or skip the ones that you feel that you're going to take a long time in doing, and then come back to those at the end. And you should realize when you do it that way, you know, you'll get time to do these type of questions right at the end. Because otherwise, if you do it in the order it's written, you know, you're more likely to run out of time that way, and you know, you won't even get a chance to do this question. So, you know, I recommend definitely doing it in a certain order, not necessarily the order it's written in the paper. So for this question, what does it say? We have to write this in numbers, obviously. So 97,403 pounds. A good way of doing this one, I tell you what, let me do it at the top here. You got 97,000. Let's just write that for now. 97 and 3 zeros. That's 97,000. Yep. 400 on its own looks like that, and £3 looks like that. So when you add these 3 together, again like a big sum, you'll get your answer. Yeah, that's what you should look like. That's what it should look like on your check. So 97403. Yeah, so that's £97,403 for 1 mark. And that was the last question for section B. If you add up your score, from both section A and section B, I think it's out of 56, I believe, you should be getting 35, I think, is the pass mark currently, speaking end of June 2023. So if you're watching this in the future, it's probably changed, but currently it's 35 for a pass. So if you got more than 35, well done. That would be considered a pass. If you didn't pass, you know, do learn from your mistakes, please. You know, the best way of learning is through your own mistakes. For me anyway, that's the best way I learn. Yeah, just keep practicing, and I'll try and make some more videos when I get a chance. So hopefully you found that useful, and if you did, don't forget to press the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell button as well for any notifications. And if you have any suggestions for any new videos, do send me a comment. Do appreciate all your feedback, and I'll try and make more videos when I get a chance. Thank you guys, hope you found that useful, and I shall see you in the next one.